right. Good evening, Aleksey. I want to thank you for your service, and I also want to thank you for your time. And I want to remind you and also the viewers that Operation Security is very important. Today is 100% real life, real time what's going on here in Ukraine. So I'll let you take it away.
Hello, guys. I'm the lieutenant, and I'm a platoon commander now. And for now, we are fighting against the Russians on the Kherson region.
Aleksey, why don't you kind of tell us, first of all, like, what is your nationality? Where are you from? What did you do before the military? What led up to the invasion? What did you do once Russia invaded Ukraine?
Before I was a businessman, yeah. A businessman, I was working for myself. I was selling sewing machines. I was renting them. Yeah, this was one of...
So basically, before Russia's full-scale invasion, you're just, an average Ukrainian male who lives, a fairly simple life of owning a business, selling, renting, maintaining, like, sewing equipment.
Yeah, but if to be honest, I can say that probably I knew that this will happen or something like this will happen. So for a pretty long time, I was training by myself. I was playing airsoft. I having some exercises. Having some trainings like skydiving.
Skydiving?
Yeah. I've jumped something about 15 times from the different highest on the different parachute systems. Yeah, if you never had them before, it's complicated for you because which you need to hold on your shoulder all the time.
I want the viewers to be reminded that a lot of men in your situation before the full-scale invasion, were civilians, and it was like you guys made the switch from citizen to soldier essentially overnight. And can you tell us just a little bit about that process and how that worked for you?
I see. Yeah. So I was looking for a brigade where I will go because I wanted to go to the brigade which will train good, which will give us a time to train as a platoon, as a company, as a brigade, and we had this time, and it really gives us a lot because when we know each other, we know who can how to say it.
How,
who is who? Who is who? Yeah, and we already know.
Even as a civilian, some guys still might have some kind of skill or trade that could be useful, right?
Yeah, exactly. And all the time you're like, when you're a platoon commander or a sergeant, whatever, you're looking at the good skills of persons, and it's good when you're using their good skills. It's you can never be good in all the stuffs,
So essentially, being a good leader is acknowledging, what people are good at, what type of assets they can bring, to the table.
You have to give them the possibility to, first of all, to show them, and to show them what they can do, and to trust them to do their job good. Like if you know that this guy can do, like, he's a good constructor. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know that you can use him. He will make a good trench. He will make a good blindage or something like that.
Can you tell
And
the audience what a blindage is?
once again,
Can you tell the audience what a blindage is?
blindage. It's a big hole in the ground. It's not too big. It's the place where your soldiers will live on their position, and they are not
Provides
too big.
safety and security as well.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. So you kind of said in the beginning that you always had a feeling that, Russia might invade your country. Can I ask you what made you think this was a possibility?
There is an expression like if you're not going to feel your army, you will feel your enemy's army. I don't know how it's
No, that
say.
makes sense. And I just want to remind some of the listeners, like, Alexei's first language obviously is Ukrainian, and that right now he is doing this interview all speaking in English. And again, like, he's a smart guy. Thank you so much. We understand that, and that's part of the reason why sometimes you might take a while to find a word. And let me ask you a question. What was life like in Ukraine prior to the invasion? But let's go back to like 2014.
The Ukraine is it's very unusual country. Because it's really I probably do not know any other country that have such a lot of freedom like here. And the people here are really proud about that they have this freedom. Maybe it's not always because of such a lot of freedom here. Maybe it's a lot of stuffs here are unusual or are not correct. Especially when we are speaking about the government. Corruption here is on even on the basement levels. From very low level to the highest level, it's always corrupt. And the system built like this way.
So can you kind of just like give the viewers an example of like small kind of normal corruption, and also maybe corruption on a larger scale, and also kind of explain to us, is the media kind of overplaying the fact that the corruption's much more serious than it actually is? Is it something that the Western world should actually be concerned of, or are basically the Russians making it sound much worse than it is to try to take away support?
No, well, a lot of citizens here in Ukraine were giving bribes to the policemen, to some low government workers, whatever, to solve their problem.
So basically, guys paying off the local police, like for speeding tickets, or
yeah. It's much easier. You solving the problem just where you are.
And when you say maybe small government office, maybe things like buying a driver's license,
Yeah. It's also was that way, and the system was built like
because I think a lot of the viewers, some people in the United States, are kind of getting this misconstrued idea that I feel like the Russians have been kind of making inflammatory remarks, kind of making people believe that the corruption is at a level of basically, if we send all of our money and aid to Ukraine, it's just gonna like go into Zelensky's pocket, right?
No, no. I see. It's not that way. Yeah, it's a lot of different and complicated systems, but when the war starts, I have few guys who are working in the police, and they're working in criminals criminals departments, which are about the murders, about the stuffs like this. And they told me that the first half of a year or even a year, when the war starts, there is almost where no criminal. So they probably they don't had a work at all.
So they're basically people in society weren't committing
Yeah,
crimes. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So and all the people were really, how to
Obeying the
say,
law.
obeying the law,
Mm-hmm.
and they were. I'll find this word. United. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All the nation was
United.
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 Yeah. United. Yeah. Thank you.
Because Ukraine, you guys use both Russian and
Yeah,
Ukrainian. Okay.
yeah. And the people who are older, yeah, they for them it's some kind of a stress. They were living in a huge, strong country. What was the Soviet Union? Yeah. After that, they had a really rough times. Really, it was 1991. If we're saying about this time, it was really a rough time to live,
Mm-hmm.
because
The
we
collapse
had
of
a,
the
yeah,
USSR.
it's a collapse, no job, no work, a lot of crimes, really a lot of crimes, and people get stressed really a lot, like.
Can I ask you a question? Since the full scale invasion, would you say even people who might have had more, the stance of kind of supporting Russian ideology, do you think that those people have kind of changed sides and are now more
Oh yeah,
unified with
yeah,
Ukraine?
yeah, a lot, really a lot of people saw the real face of Russia. Yeah, so a lot of people changed their minds about that. Really,
So
nobody.
let me ask you some questions. Can you kind of tell us about the destruction you personally have seen in the Kherson region? And how do the locals feel about, like, what are their opinions now? The people who live in these destroyed areas of Kherson, are they greeting you guys as heroes? Or, are there still some, Russian separatist type people there? Like, what have you seen in those regions?
I see.
Mm.
Uh, a lot of people are running away from the war, but um, like imagine that the people had to leave all that they had, leave their own houses. Uh, for them, it's pretty complicated, especially when it's an old persons.
Mm-hmm. And
Um,
so you're laying witness to just, all these homes that once were alive with families, happy lives, happy people. Now they're just all completely abandoned. Things still left in the refrigerator. Um, what is the destruction physically like in these places? Like, are the all buildings destroyed? kind of give the viewers imaginary picture of like what these villages look like.
Like if you're interested in what's happening in Ukraine, you know that on the left side of the river there is now our forces. They have a platform in such a village that named the Krinki, and it wasn't too big village for now. It's just flat ground. And on our position, we also in some kind of village, and there is no building or construction which are not absolutely totally damaged.
Okay, so you're saying essentially every single building is damaged,
It's damaged that way that you will have to rebuild it.
like rubble, just
Yeah.
totally destroyed. And are there still civilians living in these villages?
Mm, no. On the first line, no. But like if you'll go deeper in 3 kilometers,
Mm-hmm.
there is still some people who are living.
And how do they live? Is there running water? Is there electricity?
No, no electricity, no water.
So are these people
Only
relying on volunteer organizations to bring them?
yeah.
Okay.
Volunteers, soldiers, and so on
And
all
I
the
want to
time.
just remind viewers out there, look, people want to get involved with what's going on in Ukraine. You know, not always, it doesn't always have to, you don't always have to go like some military route. As you see, there are many opportunities to get involved with what's going on, helping these people who are living in these horrid conditions in which Aleksey is describing. Aleksey, I want to ask you: are those people living in those villages mainly older pensioners, or are they? Mhm.
Yeah. It's almost all of them are all pensioners, and I was speaking with a few of them, like,
And
why don't
what they say?
you? They think that they have no place where to go, or they saying that I having such a lot of animals here, I could not leave them, like, and they could have like 11 dogs. Like I was speaking to one man.
Mm-hmm.
He said to me that he could not leave his place, first of all, because he was living here for all his life, and also he don't want to leave because he have 11 dogs, and he don't want just leave them here
Abandon them.
for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Like what has happened to the civilians in these southern regions who were maybe once a little pro-Russian, but now, as you say, people are more unified. They don't like what Russia has done. Can you kind of let the viewers picture in their minds the type of destruction that the Russian army has brought here?
It was like murdering civilians, like shooting just in the center of a city, like a bunch of murdered civilians. Just if you will see if you can show the picture of a Bakhmut, you can show the pictures of Bucha or whatever. Probably everybody saw them. Like what the Russians could not get, they just destroyed.
And would you say, sexual assault is a big part of, the way Russian military operates in terroristic sense?
Yeah, also that was a problem too, and they steal a lot. Like they were
Looting and
robbing, looting, yeah, all whatever they see, and their culture was so low. They, well, even now on the fights, when you are seeing how they dying, some of them they dying such a stupid ways that you cannot even imagine that that it happens.
can you
Like
give us an
they,
example?
yeah, I can give you example. Like they were trying to stretch out the wires from one side of a river to another
Is this
side
for
of a river.
radio communication wires?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. For retranslation of drones and whatever, it's a lot of ways
Mm-hmm.
they are using the wires. So one of the guys were swimming with this wire to another side, and our drone saw him, and our drone had a grenade. Two guys on one side of the river, they had to cover him, but they don't give a fuck about him. Absolutely, like he was by himself. He heard that the drone is just coming down closer to him to throw the grenade as accuracy as it could. So the drone was pretty low, and this guy found nothing else better than he was just turning to the drone and he was waiting when the drone will drop the grenade.
It's
He was
just,
doing nothing. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. He was just watching at the drone with the face. What you gonna do now?
just
That
accepted
was,
his reality of death, huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The other guy was in the basement. He had a grenade launcher, and he the basement had a small window.
Uh-huh.
He put out his head and the grenade launcher out of this window, but you know that if you're going to shoot from the grenade launcher, shouldn't be any obstacles behind you.
Yes, the backblast.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. And this guy was not thinking about that. So when he shoot from the grenade launcher, it just broke him.
It probably just jellified him, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, it's crazy the ways we're seeing some of these Russian soldiers die with the training they're getting. Only we're hearing maybe a week maximum before they're just thrown into these meat waves as cannon fodder.
Yeah, and I thought for a long time I thought that it's all stories about the soldiers which are
Like Wagner or Storm Z.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like we were fighting against this Storm Z, and we had an ambush, and our ambush let them pass us, and our camp was waiting for them to came and assault the main basement. And I thought that all these stories about when the group of the persons are staying on the second line and they do not let the guys who are assaulting to go to run back.
Um, okay, yeah, we got a clear picture. If you wanted to say the word again, I got a translator here with me. Who could
Called
clear it.
заградительный отряд. It's it's a group of persons who are not let the assault company goes back, and if the assault group are trying to go back, they will shoot them.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, we're getting through literal translation it says barrage detachment, but it's more of like this like security force that is given the task of essentially killing their own people if they decide to
Yeah,
retreat, right? That is
yeah,
something that most Americans can't really get their head around because we couldn't imagine our military treating our soldiers like this because we value the lives of the individuals. This is very like World War II Stalingrad like tactics, and for some of us it's kind of hard to believe that the Russians are still resorting to this in 2024. What would you say is the difference between Ukrainians? I mean, like, you guys don't have this, of course.
yeah. We don't have this really, and our commands. Well, I can say it's a different in the different brigades. It's a different quality of all these stuffs, but if we're talking even about the giving first help on a combat field, it's a huge difference.
Like
And
medevac, when you say first help.
yeah,
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 casualty
yeah, yeah,
care.
medevac
Okay.
and first help, the trainings, the all the stuffs, the medical kits, and whatever, they are absolutely different. Like Russians still using this Asmark, it's Asmark tourniquet. You know this?
It's like a
Mm,
rubber tourniquet, maybe.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's an old rubber tourniquet, and it's not effective at all. Like
So
they don't know
yeah.
what does it mean, the occlusion or whatever. So their medicine is absolutely, it's still from the Second World War.
It's like
uh
because all of us, who've served in the U.S. military, of course, we're used to the combat action tourniquets, the CAT tourniquets. Um, I've even heard, stories of Russians essentially getting fake, tactical CAT tourniquets that just break,
yeah,
when applied. And
yeah,
and
and it's
yours
still,
keep please you can say what you're trying to say.
yeah, that's true.
Hmm.
And it's not all the problems. Like they could stripe the tourniquet to their armor in that way that you could not use it fast.
Oh,
You have
so
to cut the stripe,
uh-huh, so they
and it's a
essentially
plastic stripe. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
a
and
zip tie, okay.
yeah, 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 yeah,
So some of these guys
and
are zip tying their tourniquets to their body armor in a manner in which they can't take it off.
yeah, and you could see the guy who's just bleeded out, and he had a tourniquet on his body armor, but he could not use it.
Wow. um
Yeah,
yeah.
and they are not too worrying about the guys who were wounded in action, because they are not, well, what I saw, like I saw a few airborne uh, guys from Russia, their bodies, and Russian had a time to get them out of there,
Hmm.
but nobody did it.
Oh, okay.
Really,
So, yeah, I
they
was just gonna ask you about that. So they're literally
yeah,
leaving their dead and wounded behind, huh?
yeah. I don't know why that's happening. Well, I can imagine that
What do you guess?
it's
Why would that happen? What do you imagine?
because nobody cares about their lives.
Mm,
You see it all the time, like
just
you seeing how a
dispensable
lot.
meat, huh?
Yeah, you seeing how a lot of them are dying each day, and you understand that nobody cares about them. Really, nobody.
Let me ask you a question. Would you say that the Ukrainians, like the guys you work with, are you guys better equipped, better trained than the average Russian soldier?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely
Mm.
higher the tactics, the medicine, the well,
What
whatever.
about weapons and ammunition?
They no, probably Russian have more weapon and more different weapon,
Hmm.
and they are not use this stuff or not.
Let me ask you a question. Have you personally seen any of the Western weapons that were, promised to be supplied to Ukraine? Have you seen any of these weapons where you've been?
Yeah, even in my platoon, we had night vision. Uh,
Now it's funny because for us Americans, especially guys who served, it's like night vision is a standard that every single individual soldier has. Could you tell us basically how how different it is for the Russians and for you guys? Like what is it like?
like for us, we have a night vision for probably surgeons or the main of a groups, something like this.
Nighttime
All,
ops, yeah, maybe it
yeah,
goes to.
yeah, yeah. Also on security points, we
Outposts,
using
combat outposts, fighting
yeah, yeah, yeah.
positions.
We using thermal scopes. Some of them are bought it for our own money. Some of them were gift for us. Uh,
And the Russians, what type of capability do they have?
the Russian, for example, like they're usually the groups are of assault. They
Hmm.
have nothing. Like
Not even one. Uh,
not even one for group.
okay. What
Yeah,
about their combat outpost fighting positions?
yeah, on a position, on the fighting position, on outposts, they had the thermal scopes, night scopes. They had them.
Now, are these scopes actually zeroed into like IR lasers on barrels of weapons? Like, can it be applied really effectively, or are these people just using them just to see and just kind of call out roughly what direction to
No, no,
advance?
just to see,
Just to see.
yeah, just to see.
Mhm.
Well, it have a possibility. Like I saw their thermal scope complex, and this complex had a lot of possibilities. But what's interesting, it was made by a Russian militaries, uh, but it have a good lens, really good quality lens. But the quality of display was such low that he could not he he could not use all the possibility of a lens.
Hmm.
He could. the screen could not give the quality of what lens could give.
Like the sight picture and
Yeah, yeah. And also they had the really interesting radio station which called Azart. It's really interesting complex of radio. It have a lot of possibility, and I would be happy if Ukrainian army have something like this, because we're using for now the civilian Motorola's, and they are not as good as they are not enough effective for a military. But if we're speaking about the Russian Azart, it's have a lot of possibility.
what tactical advantage would you say the Russians have, if they have any, at the moment?
Tactical, once again?
Yeah, advantage. An advantage.
I see, yeah. They have an advantage in drone like Arlan 10.
Arlon 10, that's like a reconnaissance drone?
Yeah. Well, for now, it's not only a reconnaissance drone, because there is a lot of modification of Arlan. Some of them now are bombers.
Interesting. And these bombers, are they guided bombs, or are they pretty much just dropped?
No, they dropped.
Okay.
They dropping four bombs. What's interesting? It's cost not too much. It's flying pretty high. It's pretty effective against the REB. So it's very effective, and to use anti-air rockets, it's not logical, because the rockets cost much more than the cost of the Arlan.
Okay. Can I ask you another question? Have with staying in the guidelines of OPSEC, have you witnessed any of maybe the heavier weapons that the Europeans or the Americans have sent over? If so, things like, certain you don't have to say specifics, but certain fighting vehicles, certain artillery systems, and have they been effective on the ground in any way?
Yeah, they are much effective in, first of all, they are much accuracy. What it gives? First of all, we using each shot, it's much more effective than the Russian have. Russian shoots a lot. Like Russian could send the air bomb just for infantry. Like they could throw a bomb for 4 guys. And they could shoot a lot from the mortars, from the artillery systems, and get no result.
Oh, okay, I see. I think
because it's not accuracy. What gives the NATO's weapon? It's really accuracy. So, like, Russian can use 11, I don't know, 20
dumb ordinances,
yeah, and have no results.
And we can just use one.
Yeah, well, not in 1, in 3, or in 5. Yeah, but you have a result.
Results. That's what matters, and I think that's what a lot of the viewers want to hear about. They, a lot of us, we hear on the news, okay, our government is sending to Ukraine, $60 billion worth of weapons, this and that. The Ukrainians needed to, win certain offenses and win this war. And a lot of people want to know, like, they want to hear from someone like you, like, are these weapons really making a difference?
Yeah, like if we are speaking about the Bradley,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot imagine how much lives it saved. If we are
Amazing.
talking about the artillery systems like 777, yeah,
The howitzers,
they
yes.
are
The howitzers.
the
Oh, the M77
yeah,
howitzer is,
yeah,
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 it's
yeah,
it's a towed 155 artillery piece. Okay.
yeah, yeah. What's good in them? Their accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
When they knew, because a lot of our artillerists absolutely used the resource of this weapon. Also, we had a problem with shells, which calls Excalibur.
Mm-hmm. Excalibur, yes, the missiles.
Yeah,
Well,
it's it gives you
the range.
a lot of range. Yeah, but what was interesting with them that some of them were not effective because the batteries in them,
The batteries in
uh,
them, what were like ineffective or?
yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
were not effective.
Interesting. What about like javelins? Has there been problems with not getting, the computer system for every javelin, essentially making it
Uh,
useless, or
Probably if we're speaking about the javelin, I think on my in my brigade we have no javelins, but I speak with the guys who had them. It's pretty complicated to use, so the operator of a javelin should be trained good
And
to
what
use.
about the comparing it to the NLAW system that the Brits sent over?
In law, it's much more easier to use.
Mm-hmm.
It's also effective, and they are still a little bit complicated.
Mm-hmm.
I was,
I've personally actually opened up the box of NLAW before, and I took a quick, course on how to operate it when I myself was on the front, in the Mykolaiv region, and yeah, I actually remember it felt more comfortable and easier to operate in my hands, than the
yeah, yeah,
javelin per
yeah.
se. Um, what could you tell us, please, like if what could the United States do better? Like what would make a bigger impact for victory? Like what else could we do for you guys maybe that we aren't doing already? I'm,
I have never thinking about that because
okay, well
mm,
let me ask you another question then. How has so have air attacks ramped up in Ukraine in the past couple of months, um, around major cities, power infrastructure, um, high value targets, low value targets, everything in between, civilian homes, all that. Um, what does Ukraine need to do to bolster its air defense?
it's I was speaking with guys who are professional uh,
In this field,
uh, in this field, yeah, and it's a lot of complicates in this because this field is have such a lot of
Well, I mean, if it gets into Operation Security Sense, we don't have to talk about it. But there's probably strategies that the Russians been using
yeah,
that they've
it
changed. And
both both of the sides are it's a lot of strategy things which are very complicated,
Mm.
and it's complicated because some kind of weapons cost nothing, and they are pretty effective on the first line. So you could not use air defense system on the first line.
Well, what about stingers? You could use that on the first line, right?
Yeah, but I've never seen the stingers. Like,
I personally saw some in Mykolaiv region back in 2022. But yeah, they were rare to come across on the front, but they are out there.
Yeah, I haven't seen them, and for example, how on which how high the Stinger can shoot.
Hold it up. It has a range of 5 miles to 8 kilometers.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Well, for example, the Arlan can fly on 7 kilometers.
Let me ask you too about do you think that Western supplies of more Patriot air defense systems would save more civilian lives here in Ukraine?
The question is, it have to be not the only a Patriot. It should be a system. It should be a new type of a system. It should be air defense with the planes, with the systems which do not allow to use the drones on the first line. This is a Patriot in the middle. Like for now, nobody have drones which will fight against the drones.
Mm-hmm.
Like for now, Russians begins to use more drones. Like a planes.
Okay. And I just want to bring this up, like from the civilian standpoint, those who are not on the front line, like for example, city of Odessa, has seen a recent uptick in air attacks. What do you think that it's going to be difficult for for us to rely on the United States to constantly replenish the ammunition needed for these weapon systems that we've been sending to Ukraine? Is that like a concern? And have you noticed maybe the skies have been safer since some of these systems have been brought over? Or has things kind of stayed the same?
It depends of her region again.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the first Patriot came, almost all of them were defending the Kiev region, and they showed they are effective. Some of them now are in the south region also working. But in the south region, it's pretty complicated to defend because it's a sea, and the rockets can fly pretty low, and the radars won't able to find them.
And those Shahid drones, have been being used a lot, right?
Yeah. A lot of Shahid drones, which cost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They really cost nothing, and they sending about 30 for one attack.
Now, so I'm gonna just ask you a little bit more like basic questions about yourself. Answer what you're comfortable answering, but like, why did you join the Ukrainian army, and what did you do to join? Like, how did that happen? What was the process? Like, take us to that.
I see. Knew that it would happen. So when it's happened, I knew that in any case I will have to go to the military. So I understood that for now I have a possibility to choose where am I gonna be.
But what type of MOS? That means military occupation specialty. Like you wanted to be infantry? Did you want to be artillery? Did you want to be a tanker? What did you want to be?
I want to be in an infantry because I plus or minus understood how it should be.
Okay, so you're like, I better join up because I want to make sure I put myself where I want to be. Most guys would put themselves in a safe position, but you were like, no, I want to be on the front line. I want to be an infantryman. I want to kick down doors and shoot these dudes, right?
I decide, well, if I would know how the tank works, how to drive it or whatever, yeah, probably I would choose a different, because the infantry, it's probably the worstest place where you can get. It's especially if we're talking about the mentals. For a lot of guys, it's difficult.
You said
It's
like
really
mental
mental.
exhaustion, tired, yeah.
You're tiring pretty fast.
And I want some of these listeners out there, even guys who might have served in the U.S. military, might be combat veterans themselves of the global war on terrorism, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom. I want some of these guys to realize like this war is like all out war on a massive scale. In which like exhaustion, the capabilities of what the Russian army has versus the capabilities of what the insurgents or Taliban has, it's so much more lethal. There's so many casualties on both sides. It's going on every day. Can you just kind of tell us like how that takes a toll on people's psyche out there? How do people deal with that? How do you deal with that?
I see. Well, from my experience, I can say it's a lot of depend of the 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 company, the groups, the surgeons. If you have 3 surgeons which are pretty good, which motivated, which are do not show their fears, it's everything gonna be okay. If you do not allow to some persons to starting to yelling, crying, and whatever,
Panicking.
panicking, it's fine. It's fine. But when two guys starting to panic, starting to saying, we all gonna die. They left us. Oh, nobody cares about us. And other guys are also started to thinking that way.
But
when
that negativity spreads like a disease. Yeah.
it goes like a worm,
Wildfire, huh?
Yeah. So you should control this. Like if you're a sergeant or if you're an officer, and when you're turning all these things to some kind of a jokes, some kind of to show to make this situation lighter or whatever, you see the effect.
And let me ask you a question. When you joined, so you joined as infantry, What rank did you obtain? How did that happen? What kind of leadership role do you have?
Uh, I was a lieutenant. Yeah.
So you're an officer.
Uh,
Yes.
I'm an officer. I started from the platoon commander. Yeah.
How
And
and let me ask you a question because you didn't have prior military service.
yeah, but
How did you get the rank of lieutenant? Like how did that work?
I will try to explain it.
Okay.
Like I have higher education.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, and when I was getting this education, I also went to the courses of an
Okay.
officers. They took me about 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going on these courses. I was uh, uh, I was learning the tactics. I was learning the technicals of different weapon systems and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Yeah, so
Leadership courses.
yeah,
And
leadership courses.
and you know you say okay, so it's like 2 years of training. This war's been going on for 2 years. How does it work? Do they were they sending you to these courses, like in between you also being on the front line? Like how does that work?
Uh, yeah, I see. Not a lot of courses which I was because it's always a lot of work. Really, a lot. It's always a lot of work in your platoon.
Mm-hmm.
So you have no a lot of time to go on the courses.
Mm-hmm.
So for these 2 years, I was just on a few courses. One of them was in a different country, and it was company commander courses. It's they were made by the NATO system, and
Mm-hmm.
it was really interesting. It's I would be happy if our system used the structure of NATO's forces. I
I
could say
uh
that our system is pretty similar, but there is some small difference.
mm-hmm. So you would say it's like a hybrid between kind of the old Soviet system, Ukraine system, and NATO. It's kind of like
Yeah, yeah.
okay. Um, and let me ask you a question. But why haven't? Do you think personally? Why do you think you guys haven't been able to make a complete switch?
Complete
Yeah, like
switch to
why haven't you guys been able to, like if you got trained on NATO tactics and standards, like what is stopping the rest of the military
old
from
of,
yeah
old officers.
old
Old
officers?
officers.
Okay.
Yeah, and some of them are which are I would say the professional officers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is the first problem because some of them were taught in a Russian system and they get used to this.
Yeah, they're
So
comfortable in what they know.
yeah, and it's complicated for them to change something to get involved to understand deeper how all this stuff's working,
Okay.
and they don't want to. And the second problem, it's probably one of the hugest problems for me. It's that if the person is not a professional, you could not retire this person.
Oh, so you can't just like get rid of them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can't get rid of it, and it's huge problem. So, if you want to get rid of them, you have to find him the different position.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay. So it's a little
person not a professional.
bureaucracy in there, huh?
Yeah, yeah. This guy is not a professional, or he is not interesting to become a professional, and you can do nothing with him.
Mm.
You cannot. So it's like a parasite.
Parasite.
Parasite, yeah,
Mm.
in a structure.
Oh, okay. This is it's real interesting to hear your perspective, Alexei. Of course there's a lot of people out there. They watch the news, they listen to different YouTube channels. And it's usually, always coming from some kind of secondary, thirdary source from, the guys on the ground, boots on the ground.
Mhm.
We're getting to hear exactly, exactly what's going on from a junior officer who's an infantry platoon leader, who is bravely and honorably defending their nation from this Russian invasion. And you know, I just again like I want to thank you for your service. I would like to ask you a couple more questions, just a bit more personal things about. Could you tell us maybe some war stories? Some things that contact with the enemy. Things this nature. I want the viewers to know that Alexei also was wounded in action. Maybe we can get into that as well if you feel comfortable speaking about it.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, like for me, my wounded was well, I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting because it was only my group was for that time. We were making a rotation, so I showed to a new group their position, mm, their job,
Mm-hmm.
what
Okay.
they have to do, how they have to do, and we were going from one point to another point, and I could not imagine that someone will throw the air bomb from the airplane just for four guys of an infantry. Like,
So you're saying that you were part of kind of like a leader reconnaissance team going to the forward positions, giving out instructions, giving out orders, and while you were making your way between positions, a Russian fighter jet dropped a bomb on you.
yeah, just on the four guys.
Wow! And what when you heard the jet coming? What did you do immediately? Like,
We just why we get injured because it wasn't the first the place where we were, they were bombing it for already for a few days, but and it was some kind of a forest before the bombing. But for time when I get wounded, it already was a flat. It's
okay, so
almost
all
was.
the cover and concealment's like gone, right?
Yeah, yeah, they were gone. And we were far away from the place where you can hide. It was just a flat ground. So uh, it's really unusual and it's really loud sound when the bomb is falling down. So you always know that you have a few seconds just to fall down as lower as you can.
Absolutely, yeah. You hug that ground.
Absolutely, yeah, as deeper as you can, and that's it. So if you have some placed trenches or whatever, jump there. Yeah.
And
So
so this bomb, when they dropped it, you hit the deck. What? How far away did it detonate from you personally? What type of injuries did you sustain, or your teammates sustain?
yep. So nobody of us was killed by this bomb. The distance was something about, I think, about 150, something like this, about 550 meters from us. It
One.
wasn't
So you say 150 meters from you,
one.
and
It wasn't for to be honest. It wasn't the closer bump which were felt in a 70 meters from me, but we was in the trenches,
mm-hmm.
and it was loud. After that I had a headache, but a few pillows of paracetamol, and 20 minutes of sleep gives me back the
Gets you back on your feet.
gets me back on the feet. Yeah, and it's one small pieces of this bomb just goes into my chest. It goes from the backs, from the side, not in the front, but in the side where you have no plates.
Mm-hmm. Like under your armpit, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you got a piece of shrapnel from the
Yeah,
bomb that went into your
piece
body.
of shrapnel. Yeah, it goes into my
Did it hit your lung or organs?
yeah, 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 the lung. I had a pneumothorax. What's interesting?
Needle decompression. You had
Yeah, yeah,
a sucking chest wound out of that, huh?
yeah. What's interesting that I have this injury, and with me was a medic of a group. He also was injured. What's interesting, he had an injury in his shoulder. He had an armor for shoulder and the body armor,
Mm-hmm.
and the piece of a shrapnel just goes into his arm between these armors.
Oh, okay. So like between that Kevlar armor, the extension on the arm, it went in between that and to where it
Yeah,
meets the plate carrier. Okay.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
And you guys all survived this, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
all of us were survived. It's only two of us was injured, and I was feeling like like a ball.
Mm-hmm.
I just heard like air goes out from me.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
It's like a
I just check it.
deflating ball. Yeah.
I just check it out that I'm not bleeding. Uh, I understood that I have a shock now, and I have some time when I'm not feeling pain.
Mm-hmm. The
So we
adrenaline.
have, yeah, adrenaline, exactly. So we decided to run away from that place because we knew that the Russians gonna send the second bomb.
Can I ask you what type of aircraft dropped it?
I don't know. I could not say
Uh,
because I was on the ground, and it was
would you
uh,
say maybe the like most likely it's a MiG? Like, is that what they're using out there, or those SUs? Um,
uh, I cannot say
mhm.
really because they use all of them,
Okay.
both of them. So I
And
really
this
don't know.
bomb essentially was not like GPS guided. Like this was a dumb munition, right? They just dropped it on what they saw, which were
Uh,
your patrol, right?
no, no, it's a GPS one,
Okay.
but it's not very accuracy. Really, they are not to
Well,
accuracy, even with the using a GPS.
lucky for you, they're not. They're not that
Yeah, yeah,
accurate, huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Lucky for us, they are not that accuracy.
What how long of like recovery did you go through in the hospital? Uh,
Um, it took me a 4 months.
and that was like different surgeries. Did it
It
break
was
ribs or?
first small surgery was in one hospital. Then they brought me into my own city to Odessa,
Hmm.
and here I had a main
And did you have to do any physical
surgery.
therapy or?
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. After the surgery, they gave me 1 month for recovery, and after the recovering, they sent me mm, to the therapy.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
maybe
and
PTSD, psych therapy, or
PTSD,
or
and
was it physical training therapy?
it was a physical training. It was a salt, some kind of salt rooms.
Hmm.
It was buses. It was a complex.
What is the health care like that you receive in the Ukrainian military? Like, is it good health care standards? Uh,
Mm, it's really different. Like I have a few experience of hospital. First, I've get an injury. I broke a bunch. Yeah, bunch.
bunch of what
Uh,
what though is the like conditions like of these hospitals? Are they like modern? Are the doctors like very well qualified? Are you treated well? Are you fed well? Are you taken care of? Like how is that?
uh, I wouldn't say that it's on a high level. Well, like the personnel are trying to do the best they can.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Well, probably I would choose the food much better than in the hospital because it's really not tasty. Maybe it's healthy, but I don't know. It was complicated for me
What
to eat.
about the doctors? Were they all kind of older people or young kind of doctors, or how was the nursing staff?
Uh, well, I had a mm middle-aged doctor, and he was a professional. He made a really good surgery because it was pretty complicated and dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they could make the worster, so they were afraid, and they were discussing maybe not even to take away this
Shrapnel,
metal
the
shrapnel, yeah,
Skolky.
yeah, out from me. But they saw the problem how to get it safety, and they did it. So
Well done, well done.
yeah, they did it really well because I started to go on a physical trainings pretty fast, like
Mm-hmm.
in in a 1 month after the surgery, I already was running, and the result was even better than I suppose.
Good. Like I remember, finding out about you being wounded, and just like I could see it was like, wow, you look normal now. It's like you made a full recovery. That was the best case scenario. I even plan on having another guest coming on soon. He's an American guy who was wounded on like his second mission. He got his leg broken from a grenade dropped from a drone, some
Uh-huh.
shrapnel, and again, he had good medical care here. And that's one of the things I have to give credit to where credit's due. It seems that a lot of these Ukrainian doctors, are good at what they do. They're good at operating and fixing these type of things. I wonder, how Russian doctors are in comparison. Probably, not as good. Um, could you also maybe just before we're gonna kind of finish up soon, but are there any other like interesting maybe war stories of you guys attacking positions or repelling attacks, things of this nature?
Yeah, we had a one mission. It was pretty unusual because it was only a few roads, a few ways that the Russian could attack our main camp. They sent their reconnaissance to check it out where is our main base. We let them pass, so they could not find our main base, but they understood probably where to search.
Yeah, where most likely it would have been.
Yeah, where it most likely. But we also understood that they gonna came, so we made a bunch of surprises for them. And their first attack, we killed 4 of them, and they retreated. On the second day, they analyzed what was happening, and also decided to attack us once again, but in a different way, on the same way, but to change the tactics.
How did that work out for them?
It also haven't given them results because we rebuilt our defense. Because for that moment, I already realized that they now how they already understood how work our defense, and we rebuilt it. We changed the positions not far away. We understood that they gonna to assault our previous position, and they will bring all their fire on the place where we were before, where we had our obscure point. I understood that they will try to destroy it. So I made a different way of defending, and it also gave a result. We also we put mines on a different ways on a place where they already saw that it's safety, because just yesterday they passed by this road.
Mm-hmm.
And they again have loses.
Losses, yes.
Yeah, losses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it was a combat, so they push us away from our position. We have no losses, but we had to gave away the position that we had.
So you guys made like a tactical retreat.
Yeah. We retreat. We regrouped. The guys was pretty tired, so my commanding gave me a reserve. They gave me a reserve.
Reserves. Okay.
Yeah. And we assault their position. Now the Russians were on the way. What I was afraid that the Russians will use different ways of, so that they will attack me from the different ways.
Different
Like
directions.
different directions. That they will, like, you're already fighting with me for 3 days on a one direction.
Okay.
If I was on their position, I would probably try to find another ways.
Mm-hmm. Probe it out a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but not them. Like, I was really afraid all the time of that they will trying to use different ways, different directions, and I was afraid that I have no enough people to
Cover all these sectors, huh?
cover all the sectors. Absolutely effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also mind them. Surely, I did what I could, but and it's also, so you can imagine that if you know that there is a few directions, you have to put there the people, and it's all the people which are you're not using in the combat.
Yeah, the reserves you're saying.
Yeah, it's your reserve, which if something will happen, you could not use because they also making an important job.
Mm-hmm.
But
These
the
Russians.
No, they didn't. They on our last day before the rotation, they brought some another group. It was trained much better than the previous groups.
So this second wave of Russian attack, these Russians are better soldiers. You're saying?
Yeah, they
Okay.
were much more better trained.
Professional. Okay.
They was much more motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Were they airborne by any chance, or
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know because mm, we started the fight from one of my guys. He just killed two guys in the head from the distance of 5 or 10 meters.
Oh wow! So these guys got right up in there, huh?
Yeah. They came really close, and all the combat was going for 7 hours.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know this, a 10-minute firefight can feel like a long time. So a 7-hour shootout, that is, yeah.
And the guys, they were cool because my first line, it had a first contact, and it was really heavy contact because it was really close. It was a bunch of grenades, and two of my guys was wounded.
Wounded, yes.
Wounded, yeah. So I had to change them. I made a second line, and like a barrier, and told the guy from the first line by my signal, goes back under my fire.
So
So
cover and move, cover and move. Yeah.
cover and move, yeah. And they made behind me also a line again, regrouped. The guys who was injured, they go back to the rescue
Oh, to
point.
like the casualty collection point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
casualty collection point. They were there. I already I gave a command to get ready of the guys to bring us more ammos,
Mm-hmm.
because I already after the my guys after my first line was passing me by, I saw that the enemy are motivated and they knowledgeable, because they were trying attack when my guys were moving back to my shoulder, when they were passing my positions.
Okay.
And the enemy, we stopped them.
Mm-hmm.
They also regrouped pretty fast. Uh, uh, I understood that my higher officers, they were using mortars, and my commanders was trying to destroy their first line.
Okay, so
But
you had some artillery support, huh?
yeah, we had an artillery support.
Some indirect fire.
Yeah, and also all the time, uh, my commanders saw what's happening on the drones
Mm-hmm. Okay.
all the time. So it all the time. Uh,
Information live feed is being
information,
radioed
yeah,
in.
yeah, they had the live information uh, from these drones and from the radio. Yeah, so and also they could they adjust the mortars.
Oh, fire for effect adjustment. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, by from the drones. It was also effective because they saw much more correct than I do.
Nice. And
Yeah.
how many Russians did you guys kill?
By official information, in this 4 days, Russians lose only by killed was 78 persons.
So 7, 8 persons KIA. What about wounded? You guys take prisoners or?
No, no, no prisoners. The We were trying to speak with them and telling them to give up, but they do not agree. Like
Mm-hmm.
they were fighting, they were trying to escape, or they were trying
Die.
to
Huh?
to yeah to die.
Yeah, though that second wave, sounds like more motivated guys, are the
Yeah, yeah, I
type
mean,
to, not
yeah.
surrender.
Because after the mortars, we are trying to attack them, and they let us in. But
Mm-hmm.
what interesting they did, they starting to go by the sides.
So the flanks, they're hitting flanks,
Yeah. They started to flank me,
and
and it was really risky for me to go farther. So we decided to stay in the position that we have, rearmed, because for that time. Uh, my surgeons told me that the guys are already used more than half of an ammos.
uh-huh.
Yeah, so we decided to rearm and see what they're gonna do. We were trying to find their points, like to provocate them.
Mm-hmm.
But they were good. They also understood what is going on. So our provocation gives no results.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew where when they need to shoot, when they do not need to shoot. And also in this fight, I was lucky because one guy, he almost killed me. I was just a little bit lucky because I was sitting behind the tree, and he already flanked us. I was sitting near the tree, and I was speaking by the radio and rearmed my magazines. And it's a lot of information goes from the surgeons, from my higher commandings, what they see, what they're gonna do, and so on. And also, so it's a lot of a noise. And this Russian, he fired twice, and 2 bullets just pass away higher than my head.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was, oh fuck, this guy was really close, like, I don't know, a few centimeters lower, and he would probably get me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's that. I want people to know who are listening is that, this war is so deadly that it's like, a lot of people survive just based on luck, right? It's like it's these bullets come by, straight bullets. I mean, you can do what the training is. Training repetitively gets you into that methodical muscle memory, type mindset of react to contact. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of luck involved.
Yeah, that's true. All your trainings, all your skills, just gives you higher percent to
Exactly. Like your
to
mathematical odds of survival.
yeah, but it don't gives you
100%. Yeah.
it don't gives you 100% surely that you're absolutely tough guy and you know absolutely everything, and
High
it is,
speed. Yeah.
yeah, speed,
Yeah, yeah, hey,
what,
even the best Navy SEALs, you could get,
yeah,
clapped
yeah,
by some African child soldier, it
yeah,
just,
you just can pull some mine, or just some mortar from nowhere,
nowhere,
or something like this, just can shoot you. That's it.
And I would like to reiterate a lot so some of these listeners understand like the scale of this war, just how many casualties both sides are seeing every day. This is like World War II type scale. Casualty numbers. Uh, the battlefield is just littered with mines. There's just artillery around the clock. This is really. Would you say the highest percentage of casualties come from artillery?
Yeah, about 80% it
Mm-hmm.
goes from the artillery, even maybe a little bit higher, but something about the 80% of all it's from the artillery.
So, Alexei, we're gonna be finishing up soon. I kind of just like have one more question to ask you. So you've recovered from your battle wounds. What's next for you? Like, what do you?
Uh, I'm going back to my platoon. Yeah,
Mm.
so we're still on the same position. So yeah, I'm goes back.
So you get wounded. A Russian fighter jet drops a bomb on you. You get wounded. You have surgery, you do physical therapy, and you say, I'm going to go back to that position, to my platoon, and I'm going to continue to serve for my country and fight for freedom.
Yeah, yeah.
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, really is definition of a hero, and that's what I want people to know. In the West, don't think Ukraine is full of guys who are just trying to duck and dodge, conscription, mobilizations, and that. There are many stories of men like Aleksey today who go above and beyond Call of Duty, and it's because of guys like this that Ukraine is winning this war, and we need to raise awareness. We need to continue giving these war fighters all the type of necessary military equipment, aid that they ask for. These people, they are more than willing and ready to fight and die for their country. And it's an absolute honor to have you come on this podcast. Again, I want to thank you for your service. I want to thank you for your time. Is there anything that you would like to say to any of the viewers or anyone out there?
I never thought about that. I want to say thank you for you that somebody that you give the possibility to the regular persons, to regular people, to hear the story from not from the TV, not from the propaganda or something, just a story, just a way that the regular people see what's happening here and how it goes here. So it's really interesting, and I think it's gonna be a really honest stuff.
Well said. Thank you, because this is the first episode. This is the first thing I've done. Of course, everything's work in progress. I'm still working out some of the techniques, and I see this. This is definitely going in a good direction. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Crusader. This is the TOC. And we want to thank you all for listening. And remember, guys, stay safe, and tell the ones that you love them. All right, Crusader out. Thanks, Aleksey. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Good night.
Night. Thank you.